Hey guys, Jason here from MMOHuts.com. Recently, I had a developer play session with the Elder Scrolls Online team, and they gave me a guided tour of the latest DLC zone, Dragonhold. Dragonhold is the finale of the current ESO storyline, the Season of the Dragon. There's a lot to see in this gorgeous area.
Awesome.
Alright, thanks for having me today.
Yeah, it's our pleasure. I'm glad that you could join us.
For sure.
Always excited to get to show off our new stuff. We work hard on it. So.
Oh yeah, and this is a gorgeous town, so I was sort of nosing around earlier while I was putting a million skill points together and finding equipment.
Excellent. Good, get you a chance to check it all out. Well, let me give you the broad strokes, and then we can kind of dive into the world tour. So this is a new zone. It is similar in size and scope to Murkmire or Clockwork City. It's got a completely playable zone story. It's about 8 to 10 hours of content for the story. It's got a bunch of independent content quests, side objectives, a whole bunch of dailies, a couple delves, a couple world bosses. It's kind of your standard zone features. One of the cool things that we're super excited about this time, though, that it's a little different, is this is the last of our Year of the Dragon or Season of the Dragon content. So this actually has what we like to call the capper. If you have played all of Southern Elsewhere and all of Northern Elsewhere, then it'll actually unlock an additional 2 capper quests that culminated at the conclusion of the 2 storylines together. You get to see all the characters, or not all, but many of the characters from both of the zones together. And we're very excited because it's been a cool chance for us to tell a real contiguous story over the course of a short set of releases and kind of tie everything together. It's the first chance we felt like the dungeons made sense, which really rolled into the prologue, which rolled into the chapter, and now this feels like the right end of the story. So that's been a lot of fun for us, and so far everybody seems to be super on board with it. I've had a lot of fun as well.
The story of the Year of the Dragon's been wild. Some of these quests have been really, really interesting, and I too have really enjoyed the dungeons and stuff, so I'm very excited to see how it all turns out.
Awesome. Well, we're excited for people to see it too. But there's, as always, we also do a bunch of base game improvements. The kind of key features this time around are we have made updates to our activity finder or our dungeon finder or battleground finder. And updates is really not the right word. A better word is to say we looked at the old code and threw it out and rebuilt it from the ground up with the idea that we would want to focus on reliability and performance under load. We've had an opportunity to test it with bots. We've actually put it on PTS and had a number of people bang on it, so we're pretty happy with what we see, and we're excited to see what it looks like once we release it into the wilds. This is also the first update where we do the performance updates that we've been discussing on our website and on the forums. Well, this is going to be the first release where we actually start down that path. There's 2 major things that we've done. By far the biggest is memory management. We've done some improvements to how the game handles memory. This should help improve stability, as well as result in fewer crashes. There may be a slight but not super large improvement to frame rate. I should point out
I'm
that
looking forward to.
so this probably will be slight. I think what you'll see is more improvement on the consoles where memory ends up being a larger issue. Additionally, we've also made moves towards hard coding some of our abilities. Some of the passives and things that are pretty set in stone, we're removing them, or we're now hard coding it, so they're actually causing less seeks to the database, less requirement looks around for the zone, so it hopefully will be more performant. I will say this is, again, the first update. There is no magic bullet. This is going to be incremental changes, but you should start to see improvements starting with this update moving forward. So we're excited to kind of get that ball rolling, and there's more in releases to come. And then, as always, there are new items and new rewards and new monsters and a bunch of dragon updates. But why don't we actually just run around and talk? Show
Sounds
you
good.
the zone.
Let's do
And
it.
then, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask.
Gotcha.
We're here for you. And I'm Jeremy Serra. I'm the lead content designer. I'm not even sure we went down that path. And I'm joined by Rob Garrett, who is what is your title? He's my
doer
counterpart.
of things.
He is a lead gameplay designer.
Yeah, that's it.
He's kind of my counterpart on the other side of the building. I handle the story stuff, and he handles the more in-game and moment-to-moment gameplay sort of things. So I'm actually standing over here, the guy with the crown, next to Sai Sahan.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So Sai Sahan has been featured in our base game. He's a big character from lore. We've actually helped kind of expand on his character. He's one of the founding members, one of the last living members of the Dragon Guard. So he's arrived in Central to kind of help ward Central from the threat of the dragons. Central, at this time in our history, about 20 years ago, was ravaged by a flu called the Connaughton flu. We'll just kind of walk as we talk. The bulk of Central and a lot of Southern elsewhere actually got destroyed. Oh my goodness, hold on one second. I apologize, I'm having character load issues. 1 second, I'm gonna force relay. In the meantime, while I'm talking. And they actually, a bunch of refugees came into Central. The dragons have actually entered southern elsewhere with machinations of their own, which we get into in the zone story. So even more refugees have arrived. While they are there, the supplies are a lot less, so it's been a lot more difficult now. There is no actual official police force in Central. There's a group of Imperial irregulars that have been holding down the fort for the last 20 years that have been cut off. We're going to head into Central Palace. This is actually an area from lore. If you're familiar with Morag Tong history, as many of us are, they actually staged a major assassination here and assassinated the leader and then wrote his name. Morag Tong was there in blood on the walls. This has been the first opportunity we've actually seen this in-game, so it's been cool for us to actually show you something that is featured so heavily in lore.
This is gorgeous.
Yeah, it's turned out really well, and I don't want to spoil too much, but yes, you'll come in and out of here throughout the zone story. And obviously, we've cleaned up the walls. Red is not a tasteful color. So, moving through, again, because of the flu, actually a number of years ago, they actually went, and you'll see we're going to come out the back here. You're still with me? Get to a nice view of our dock area, sort of our back veranda. The player is actually going to arrive on a ship from the mainland here. This is the way
that's scenic.
it turned out really nice. Yes, and then while this is nice, as we venture kind of out and about of the area, and let's just drop off the edge here if you're with me. Sorry, I'm over here. Do this without dying. You will note things are not nearly as pretty in this neck of the woods.
Ah, the slums.
So what happened was Central actually covered a large portion of southern elsewhere down south to the docks and what we now call the Blackheart. Is it the Blackheart docks? Pardon me, it's been a little while. And they burnt a good portion of the area to try and get rid of the flu. And of course, as wildfires will do, they actually went wild and ended up burning a large portion of the suburbs. So as we wander out here and leave, you'll actually see we're now in a part that is pretty much overgrown. 20 years ago, it was burnt down, and now you'll see that the landscape is kind of regrown, and there's a lot more colors, a little more vibrancy. This is something we always try and make sure is that all our zones have a unique feel. This is much different from northern Elsewhere, which is much more desert.
Yeah.
This area here, there's a lot more regrowth, so things are a lot more colorful. It's much shorter in this particular area, though we always make an effort to have multiple biomes so the player gets a good chance to see different things as they're going through. But yeah, if you will imagine, 20 years ago, this was actually just a suburb that continued all the way down south to the buildings you can see in the north, in the distance. And if you see here, right off to the right here, this is one of our new critters. This is the Glyptodont. He is a critter despite the fact that he is a gigantic beast. And if you want to haul off and smack him, you see he actually turtles up.
Oh, that's great.
So, yep, he turtles. He does a little shield, so you could step back and let him unturtle, or you could finish him off and collect various components from him. But yeah, we always try and make sure we have a little something to show off how things look different in the different zones, and that's something that we thought just looked really awesome. And as I said, we're heading south to Southgard Ruins. Pardon my confusion. This is actually was originally part of the docks area of Central, so a lot of the transit actually went through here back in its heyday 20-some-odd years ago. But now, because it has been separated off, it's become a haven of scum and villainy, if you will. So it is now ruled by pirates. There is an objective.
Bunch of no good nicks.
That's exactly it. And there is an objective quest where there's you help a young woman and her brother escape the rough life that they have lived, and maybe cause trouble for the Black Gulls, which are the groups of baddies that have ruled the area.
I'm always down to cause a little chaos.
Yeah, you'll see this area is a little bit rougher than the last. Ruled predominantly by pirates, so the pirates are friends with skeevers for whatever reason. Dogs are not their friend. They prefer rats. They're a little less cute. And then if we come here, we'll find one soon. And as the things we always like to do, especially because we're featuring new areas, is we want to refresh our base pop. So this guy, for example, we first saw him in Northern Elsewhere. He's one of our new monster types. But we also refreshed our pirate pop. If we can find somebody up here. So we're looking for a guy who is a swashbuckler. That's one of our new class types. Turned out pretty awesome. If we can't find him here, we'll find a little else.
Wrangler, Mariner, and Alchemist.
Never
None of you guys fit the bill.
when you need it. Exactly.
None of you dorks are what we're looking for.
And you will note that there's a little guy there that is cowering in fear. Of course, they are evil and are slave traders. So one of the things you can. Yes. All right. So don't beat him up too much. Let's let him beat us up. You can kind of see the cool new thing that he does. So he's got a couple pretty nice maneuvers, but by far, that's the one.
Oh, that was cool.
It just looks awesome. It's like our ninja pirate guy.
Oh wow, they're pretty awesome.
And then if you saw that we actually rescued a slave, there's achievements. So as you're wandering through, you can get additional itemization by rescuing slaves in the area. Let's kind of head down this way along the coast.
Hold on a second, we're fighting.
1 second, I'm fighting stuff.
Just so excited to show off. Oh. All right, let's see if we can duck over this hill here. Maybe we can show off the perfect pounce. If you've seen any of the other ESO Live, in addition to there being bad guy pirates, which of course is kind of the definition, there are people of ill repute that you end up befriending throughout work in reforming the Dragon Guard. One of them is Kaji named Zaji and his friend Casca. And there you can actually see it in the distance, see that nice colorful blue and gold ship straight ahead of us.
Yeah.
That actually is something that you will end up acquiring and using as transport in the zone story. So if we actually worked our way over there, and we're running a little shy on time, so just pretend like we did.
But we totally did that, yeah.
It was amazing, and when we looked at the ship's wheel, it actually has it's been chained up. It's kind of like got the medieval equivalent of the club on it. So that's actually part of the zone story. Is for whatever reasons it got misplaced. Do we have horses? I thought we mount up and run out of here.
This is such a cool horse.
Oh, nice. So if you look in the distance to the left, do you see that blue like bubble magic field thing?
Yeah, I see it.
Try and get up a little closer, but we can kind of talk about it as we're wandering through. So that is the capper. You actually eventually get to that island when you work through the capper quest. So after you've done the other ones, there's little independent content quests we've passed here. Once you do the capper, you will end up getting help from, Abner shows up, asks for a hand. You get some little bit of byplay between Abner and Sai. I don't know about you, but Abner is the guy I just love to hate. He's just such a jerk.
Yeah. Abner's a real bag of dicks.
Well, I would put it that way. I probably shouldn't, but
don't worry, I can. It's probably fine.
Let's see if we can run down and grab a dragon while we're
Though,
running.
like, aesthetically speaking, Sai is probably one of my favorite NPCs. He just looks like a badass.
He is really cool. Oh, let's stop here. This is another one of our monsters. This one does not turtle up. This is
no, it does not.
Back. Yeah, he turned out pretty awesome, and yeah, you need to stay out of his path, or he may
that's a nice cone of danger.
Yeah, it's actually one of our newer tell types. I think it really works well. It's very clear that you need to get the hell out of Dodge.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving along. You look up here on the hill to our left, you can see the dragon icon. One of the cool new things that dragons do, and of course he's going to prove it the instant we get near him, is they will actually get bored and run away. What am I in combat? Something is mad at me. I will just keep running. Previously, in northern Elsewhere, a dragon would fly to a specific location and he would just stay there until you've put him out of his misery with a group of 8 to 80 people. And now he will, you see there, he is right there. Knew what happened. He got bored. Nobody was messing with him, so he's going to wander off to another one of the dragon attack locations. So you actually get an opportunity to kind of chase them around the zone and get a sense that they're much more connected to the world than they were in the past. I think that's really, really helped. Also, when we get there, and I'm just assuming people are still behind me, and I'm not just talking to myself. And of course, he didn't choose this one. He is much more reactive in those areas as well. He will actually set fire to things, like the trees and whatnot. He will attack the villagers to some extent, like shoot at them. What you're seeing here, he's actually walking around the landscape. That's not something he did in Northern Elsewhere. For the record, it's something he does in Northern Elsewhere now. All of this is retroactively applied to Northern Elsewhere.
Okay.
One of the exceptions is him walking around the space. It depends on the size of the space. We didn't always want it to feel samey, so in some spaces it doesn't make sense for him to walk around, so he won't, in which case he'll react the way he did. But there's a bunch of different reactions here. The other thing, which is super cool, is there's 2 new dragon types. There's the Frost Dragon and the Storm Dragon. So now you'll see a bunch of new new dragons. And again, that is also applied as well.
New horrifying breath weapons.
So yes, we can attack him. It will be a short-lived attack. But you see, he got bored. He just set fire to a tree. He just
I'm
walks
not
around.
scared of him.
All right, well let's take him on. I'm sure the three of us can handle something.
Yeah, it'll probably be fine.
Survived long enough to look up and notice that the sky actually changed.
Okay, so maybe it wasn't so fine.
I fell over immediately. He just looked at me and I died. But yes, the sky actually will change relative to what sort of dragon type it is, and when the dragon is up, similar to what the dark anchors or the geysers used to do. So we tried to make the dragon feel much more alive.
Mind resing me real quick.
Well, you shouldn't be in combat, are you? Oh, there you go. He's resurrecting you anyway. But this is a group thing, but it should not force you to rest. All right, let's hop on up. Pretend we've learned our lesson. Mount and then run on north.
That's right. Just stay over there.
He's scared. He knows.
He absolutely is.
It's a Pyrrhic victory. He only kind of won. All right, so we'll head on through. Right now, we have stayed pretty much in the southern biome. This is the area we affectionately have called the Scorch. It's full of regrowth, but we'll start wandering towards the west, and we'll start to enter the next biome, which is a little bit more marshy. If you're with me, hopefully you will survive this as well. There's a number of other dragon attack locations that the dragon will wander around that we're kind of passing by in this area. To the right, we're passing by Essential again. If I had had the forethought to unlock things, then we might not have seen quite as much of this, but it'd be a good opportunity to kind of show the transition. There are two houses as well. There is a house in Essential, which is the something palace. What's happened there? I've got it written down somewhere. Oh, there they are. Lucky Cat's Landing, which is Essential. It's got a nice view of the harbor and a back porch, which is a cool view of the city. And then to the left, if we had a little more time, we might see it. In fact, we could run up there real quick and get a quick view of the vista, if you like.
Alrighty.
There is the Potentates Retreat. Not a nasty area. Hopefully we don't get yanked off. If we do, so be it. I'm going to show kind of the cool vista of the island. This has got one of the cooler views. So yes, this is a gigantic palace.
This is my kind of house.
It's a giant manor house. It's got a gigantic terrace in the back. We had more time. I definitely want to show it to you, but I want to show you some of the other stuffs. In the meantime, if we run down here, you get kind of a cool vista of the island. It's become sort of a focal point throughout the zone story. You'll see this a couple times, but here is your view of the evil island. Something might happen there. I wonder what it could be.
I have a feeling that nothing good is going to happen.
It might involve dragons, just saying. Alright, so wandering through, can we make this sort of ish? Yep. This drops us into the second biome area, which is more of the swamp area. You'll see the trees are kind of a little bit different, little more Florida and a little less burnt regrowth. wander towards one of the cooler features that I think there is in the south here. You wander along the way. So the moon sugar to the Khajiit is a very, very important thing. It's involved in many of their rituals. It is said to be the tears of a goddess. So they definitely hold it in high esteem. You will note as I am running through, they say that it can be found in some of the waters. This is an example of that. You'll see the water kind of has a fluorescent splash to it.
Oh, that's a cool look.
This is supposed to be part of that magic, so this is kind of a revered area. Moonlit Cove was originally an area for pilgrims to come to, check out, see the moon sugar in its natural form, see how it interacts with the environment, and as many things in a game without conflict, it gets a bit boring, so it was overthrown by pirates, as it turned out. Again, that's a major theme. You'll actually see that in our itemization. You will unlock an entire pirate outfit as you're going throughout the zone story. But moon sugar is also a product of skooma. So the pirates have overtaken this area so that they can use it for their moon sugar or for their skooma.
I hear skoom's pretty good for you. That's the word on the street, though.
I think the verdict is out. I think it depends who you talk to. But yes, as far as that goes, yes, the pirates are definitely on that side of it, but they are not very good business partners with the...
They're probably not keen to share.
Confidence. Yes, that's exactly it. So one of the cool things is you can actually see the boss area from here. So if you look in the distance as we're getting beaten up, you see a view of where we can go through. And I'm going to spend too much time. I just think this area is too cool not to show. And then one of the other things that we felt was important, especially from an art standpoint, was how would this moon sugar and its waters affect the flora and fauna of the area. So you'll notice there's lots of fluorescence and lots of cool color schemes, are predominantly in aqua, but I think it adds to a really nice sort of luminescence to the whole area. And then this is one of my favorite spots in the delve. This is one of our 2 delve zones, just featured in a number of... there's a delve story about reclaiming this area from the evil pirates. It's also featured in the zone story. But yet you'll look up the fauna on the flora on the ceiling. There's no fauna on the ceiling as far as I know. Though we do have mushrooms that can walk on the surfaces, I believe. Anyway, for what it's worth, I feel like it's very, very star-like. It's kind of a
Definitely.
Cool vista. And then as we whip up on these guys, if you will stand here and look the same direction that I am, you'll see up there this thing called a grapple point. You look towards the... so in the zone story, you can unlock a grapple bow, and a grapple bow can be used to access these grapple points throughout the zone story and throughout the zone. And those can be used to unlock achievements in various other areas and things like that. And this is just one of the spots where you can see it, but we also have this featured, like I said, in a number of the zone story areas. Let's jump out. Jump back to Central and then run north. So if you want to give me just a second, I will jump in and then you can jump to me. In fact, I may even use my way shrine and jump us ahead. But yeah, one of the things that we always try and do is focus on the culture of the area. So moon sugar is an important piece of the culture to the area. Yeah, give me just a second. I'm going to jump straight to Black Heights, and then you all can just jump to me. All right, yep. Yeah, you can jump to me. You'll end up at the nearest way shrine. Similarly, since not everything is trouble and strife all the time, though naturally it is, they just don't know it yet. To the north is the kind of hippie cat commune of Black Heights. And back to you.
Alright, let me travel to make sure I'm right where I need to be.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, if you hit P for party, you can right-click and do travel to player.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Oh, yep, gotcha. Yep.
Just waiting to
You did
load
it before you did the second jump.
in. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was premature. I jumped Essential, and I was like, if we do the run, it will take too long. So I thought we would cheat and jump partway there anyway. And that's convenient, because right next to us is one of the things that I can show you, one of our new critter types.
Alrighty.
So yeah, if you look here, this is one of our more skittish critter types. This is the Addicts, inspired from real-world aminals. And this is just kind of a little something from the area. So yeah, if you want to hop on your horse, we'll run on out here. We're going to head up north. You will see we're now more in the third biome, which is kind of the southern edge of the Tenmar Forest, which is a big area in some of the other test games. You'll see the trees are a little bit bigger, things are a little more close together. This is Zasim. You may remember him from Orsinium, and if you don't, he's from Orsinium. He's one of our recurring characters. We always love to bring guys back. We fall in love with our characters, and whenever there are characters that people are interested in, we try and bring them back. And naturally, there are ones that are near and dear to us. Let's take a quick dodge here to the left. This is a temple just outside of the village of Black Heights. You will note this serious business guard right here, Zarkir. Sorry, if you went in, don't worry about it. This is a temple that is manned entirely by Alfiq. Which are the little house cat looking things. So don't tell them that, or they may not dress up in cute clothes. If you take a look, you'll see they're a very magical race. They're doing a bunch of religious things here. This is featured in their zone story. You'll come through here. Zaji, who is one of the characters in the zone story, was originally from this area, so you end up meeting his family and adventuring. You'll also see here this bell is featured as a puzzle type. The bell and maybe these things might somehow be connected, just guessing. I would also point out that this is entirely manned by house cats, and it is full of sand. Glean from that what you will. It might be a litter box.
It's probably a litter box.
Avoid the lumpy bits. So let's jump on out and move on. We're running shy on time. I want to make sure that you get a chance to see everything. If you see here, this cool thing, we can pretty much walk from here. This is one of the examples of our hippie cat commune area. If you look close at these rocks, you can actually see they're made from little teeny paw prints. Jason always likes to joke that they took and dipped the Alfiq in paint and used them like brushes. But we'll actually unlock these for use in various ways to get through achievement furnishings or through Crown Store for use in housing later on. These are very much artists, or artistes even, with the extra E just to add the emphasis on it. If we want to head up here, one of the things that is important to them is their walk of life, as they call it, or wall of life, as they call it. And towards the end of life, they make their final journey to this wall. Let's just let the base pop go, and you get grabbed, let me know. But something happened. Maybe the player will be involved. And bad things have now ended up at their wall of life. Traditionally, someone at the end of their life would make this journey unhindered by, say, Horvers or Spider Base Pop, and then paint a message on this wall of life that they're in remembrance of their life, and people would then come and be able to appreciate it. But something happened to the wall, and it has now become nastified. Something happened, and you may do something throughout the objective that will help you restore this and resolve the problems, because people are having difficulty getting through their final phase. That will also unlock a really cool memento, which is kind of the cleaned up version of this wall.